Hey, what's going on, everybody? Aaron, you coming at you from New York City once again. Welcome to my daily trading vlog. As if you were on the video yesterday, if you were on my vlog yesterday, you know that I've been kind of busy with this virtual event for my other business, my personal finance coaching business. So. Um, I have not been able to actually be active in trading and give it all the due attention. And I took a trade this morning. I didn't take the breakout trade. I tried to do something else, and this week has been a week of not really sticking to the system of the breakout trade that I promised that I would be demonstrating, and it's come back to bite me in the ass more than it has saved me for sure. And so I'm a little bit pissed about that. I tried to take the bounce back from the 3050 to the 3075 on the S&P, and obviously it didn't work. I took the buy here. I got stopped out as this candle went down. Sometimes the arrow is misleading, but I'm just letting you know I can't show you the exact history of it because I'm not doing it live. Maybe one day that'll change, but for now, you just have to take my word for it. I'm being honest about all my trades here. Um, I took the buy. It didn't, and I was aiming for the 3075, kind of like this move right here, but it obviously not fresh. I wanted. I This is something I could have taken. I probably could have set it and forget it. Um, Maybe if I were to have done a little bit of analysis before I went to sleep yesterday, I would have been able to see this. But I was just on calls and stuff like that all day, and I was not trading. And so this morning, even I was not really my mental game, my mindset was definitely not at its A game. And so I just thought, hey, I saw this, I got tempted. I was like, hey, I think it could do that once again, and screw the breakout trade. I think it's gonna, after this 9:30 break below, I thought it could take a bounce back up to here before it corrected down, and that was just a really dumb move, dumb idea. I think we're all, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm definitely uh, susceptible to stupid things sometimes, and this is one of them. Um, I don't know. I just have an affinity. I just saw this, and I thought that hey, this little zone right here probably could push it back up, but fundamentals got the better of me here because the market is going down, in with the increased uncertainty of all these coronavirus upticks, the increase in coronavirus cases being reported recently, and rumors of states starting to pull back their reopening and maybe even start to shut down again. Um, but there is something to be said about how people think that it is Friday, it's the end of the week, and so usually the institutions don't want to close out the week on such a negative note. If we go back and look at the weekly candle, we'd have to kind of adjust this. But last week it was we were very much in the range of the previous week's highs and lows, just in this range from and also notice that there's a reason I like these like small quarters. The tops and bottoms of the weeks tend to kind of coincide really nice, except for this one. But the more often than not, the tops and bottoms tend to coincide with the quarters, like the green lines or red lines, for example. And so I have an affinity for them, having learned the quarters trading or a quarters theory myself. So I that's where all of that comes from. Obviously, it's worked for me. It's about a 50-50 rate. I think it's more of a coin flip type of thing, the way that I'm doing it. I think I can definitely be better at it. But you can see just the sheer volume of trades that I took last week and the sheer volume of trades I took this week on the S&P. Last week it was working for me pretty good. This week it has not. My winners have not been in the S&P. Anyway, the point is that these there's a lot of wicking happening. If I were to just zoom in a little bit more here, you can see, whoops, I did not mean to move that line. You can see that there's a lot of wicking all the way up here, and then now it's, towards the week lows. Last week there was a lot of wicking and moving up, moving down. If you want a little bit better view of that, if you zoom out onto the daily, uh, after this nasty move, it's just been kind of bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing around. It's particularly in this, like, bouncing off of the 3000, um, or from the 3000, it kind of wicked. They had one day where it kind of bounced off the 2925 all the way up to 3150, and it's just been bouncing around inside of there. It's really tough to trade when there's so much, when it's just stuck in this kind of a range, but you can tell that I'm still going for it. Maybe not the best move. I'm definitely, luck is on my side a little bit, because even with, maybe it's not luck. It's 50-50, so it's like about, it's about what it ought to be, right? It's right around the expected kind of, the expected EV, the expected success rate, but the risk reward is what's making me still profitable in spite of all of the range trading, where I'm losing trades as much as I'm winning trades, but the bottom line, I'm still profitable. And except for today. Today I only took the one trade, and I talked about it I started talking about it briefly. I tried to take the bounce from 3050 to 3075, and I was dead wrong. There was a lot of news that came out that made the market say, we're selling off today. And it was a really strong move down. And then I could have done more of a bounce from taking the 3025 down to the 3000, because I should be looking for more sells now, but I didn't. I was busy until now. Again, I'm on break off this virtual summit that I have going on. To be quite honest, like, I think I would rather be trading, based on what I'm learning in the summit is just, it's something that personally, I would rather be here trading and doing videos like this and be more engaged like this than learning. But this business is also very important to me, so I'm on there. I'm tempted to try and take the 3000 to bounce it back again, but this is very much into like the catching the falling knife type of situation, which is not usually a good move at all. So I'm debating whether I want to take a pullback off the 25 to bounce it back down. Although it's been touched a couple of times, I don't know that it's gonna hold. This resistance is gonna hold. I do see divergence here, right? I do see divergence here, and is this technically divergence? Let's see this low. 28. This 27. This off of this 29 and 28. It's a little bit off, so I might need to change to a different time frame to get a better idea of the divergence. And here on the lower time frame, we're not seeing as much of a divergence, as there is definitely one right here to this low. You can see that this low, the price hit newer lows and hit another new low, but in here to here, there's the momentum was actually going up. So notice also that off of this, it kind of reset because we don't see divergence as much anymore. So I think earlier in the week I took a divergence trade because I saw divergence twice, right? I saw a negative divergence at that time twice, and I went for it because I was like, hey, if I see this much of it, it's gotta mean something. It's gotta mean that the price is turning around. and that was off the Nasdaq, and that totally faked me out. So learn my lesson. I'm gonna wait for the confirmation before I take any kind of a trend reversal kind of move. I was very tempted to do what I did earlier and take the reversal off the 3,000. It's a red number. It's a red quarter, which indicates that it's a bigger quarter, right? The green quarters are smaller. Sometimes I make it dotted just to distinguish more easily between the two. A hundred, like 3,100, also a big round quarter. So every like 4 quarters, every 100 points, I give it a red line on the S&P. The Nasdaq moves a lot faster, so I'll do it every 100 points is actually a green line, and every 250 points is actually a red line. It's just a little different style based on the personality of the movement in those indices. If you're just curious why the red lines and green lines are different on my charts. So it does look like maybe there's an increase in movement or a divergence in, or not a divergence, but just a weakness in the bear trend. Maybe, I don't know. I am not really convinced here. I just know that the small quarters, they tend to be pretty. Price seems to pause there a lot, like you saw here. It shot down, but it didn't keep going down. It wanted to hit the 30.25 a couple of more times before continuing the move, and this was right here my opportunity. If it closes below a quarter, that usually I want to take a sell right here, but this was a smack in the middle of the time when I was in the virtual event, and I totally missed it. I was not paying attention to the trading market at all. So definitely missing out on some opportunities. Um, Tempted to take this bounce back to see if it'll go from 33,000, I mean, to to the 25 at least before it comes back down, just to get a small quarter out of it. So I do see on this time frame, I am seeing somewhat of a divergence here. If you look at this, the RSI close, if you pay attention to this value, is 30. This is a lower low on the price, but this is it's just a little higher, right? This one is 30.26. This one is, oh, it's actually a little lower. Technically, it's not divergence. I thought it was 30.7, so it was higher. I read that wrong. But even so, you can see that it is kind of weakening. The bearish movement is kind of weakening. It did clear out all these lows before, and it is looking at, I don't see really any kind of buy zone here, other than the fact that it's a 3,000. That's really the only piece of evidence that I have that makes me want to buy there. I don't have other pieces of evidence. So usually, what I've learned is I do better. I'm more successful and effective if I'm picking up more than one data point for entry. So I want to see some confluence. Confluence meaning more than one reason to get in. And right now I'm kind of seeing weak momentum, not quite divergence, but I do see like a lower low, but this isn't really a lower low here. It's almost negligible. It's almost the same thing. We're like, who knows what's going to happen. So I'm just a little bit off. I just don't have a good feel for the market right now, because I took a loss. I was disconnected. I came back in, so mentally I can tell that I'm just wanting to catch falling knives, and that's like a pattern that doesn't really. It's a low probability trade to take, right? But I took it once this morning, and I find myself feeling like I want to do it again right here, just because it's the 3,000. It's off the lower low. I feel like they're like the on the hourly anyway. The 100 is fresh, or excuse me, the 3,000 is fresh. Um, and not to mention there's the fundamental reason that maybe institutions want to keep prices from looking so terrible at the end of the week. We might see this. It is right now 3:19 p.m. Eastern time. We have literally one more hour or so before the market closes for the weekend, and I don't for usually in this kind of scenario where it's like literally an hour away from a week's close, you're not, typically the institutions don't want to allow the market to sell off any more than it already has. Um, so I'm tempted to take this, but I also know it's not really a high probability move, even though it might sound like it based on the fundamental reasons. Like, oh, usually they want to end on a stronger note, right? And not establish new lows for the week, which is kind of where we're at. They want to. I'm guessing that Wall Street wants to have it close a little bit higher, just to be like, hey, it was a little choppy, but it's not so bad. We ended on like a not as bad note. We didn't end on fresh new lows, which is kind of what it looks like if you look at it on a daily chart right now. This is the lowest we've been in over a week, right? So this is June 26th. Last time we were this low was June 15th, when we were in the middle of bouncing back from this mess right here. You can see that this week, the week of June 11th, this nasty sell-off, I forget exactly what the reason was for this terrible week where the market dropped over 100 points, maybe 150 points or more. We've just been standing inside of that range, and that's just like it lowers the amount of opportunity we have, and which is where like I want to like for me it's like, well, that's kind of when I want to take small quarter trades. I want to take 25 points here, 25 points there, and take them out. But it's not. I'm just like off the game right now as far as my mental game is concerned. So I think I am okay just losing $49 for today. I took one trade and it was like, right around the $50 amount of risk that I like. I could definitely take more now because I have a larger account now, as I mentioned. But I think I want to just call it here for today and start new on either Sunday night on the open or Monday morning on the regular trading hours open, and just say like, hey, I had a profitable week. It ended on a sour note a little bit because I did end my winning streak of like profitable days. Today is definitely a negative day, and I'm hesitant. I'm like second guessing my own mentality because it seems like if I were to take this kind of catching the falling knife trade because of fundamental reasons that I'm purely speculating on, I feel like that will count as a little bit of revenge trading. I don't have a ton of good technical reasons to take this trade, and I want to be more of a mathematical trader because I want to take emotions out of it. And right now, I do feel like maybe emotions are not being taken out of it. They're very much clouding my judgment, especially because I haven't been paying attention and I've just been kind of feeling. I've just been catching FOMO one after another. Like I was wrong here, and then I missed this small quarter that could have easily made me back up to profitable for the day today, and I'm just noticing all this stuff is not really going the best way it can. Like I don't really have a lot going for me right now. Next week, though, I am going to revamp my trading methodology a little bit. I'm going to take on multiple contracts. Oops, sorry, I lost the mic there. Next week, I am absolutely going to be taking on multiple contracts. I have a bigger account size now, so it is next week will look a little bit different. I might actually do some live trades where I'm actually live in the morning to take breakout trades with you. It'll just help me hold myself more accountable to you guys. as you look at it. So that's it for today's video. Stay tuned for next week, where I am going to trade a little bit differently. I'm going to be trading with a little bit more risk because I have a bigger account now. So have a great weekend, everyone. This is make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for the next video from YouTube. Have a great week.